Bows and bow ties. What is going on? Yes, it is a Sunday afternoon, and did my online church with the family. Um, Now we're going into the second part of our afternoon. My boys have a flag football game today, so I have two games to attend, which means I don't have much time. So I guess I have to put these time limits on myself so I don't go yammering too long. So right now it's about 12:24. I need to try to be done in approximately 10 minutes. Okay. So because I have to get on the road. All right. So I'm sitting outside because I'm enjoying all of nature here. You know, I love my deck. Okay. So I'm one of those people, I like to sit on the deck. And if I had more time, I would have set up down there in the gazebo outlook overlooking the pool. I love the serene like atmosphere of this type of thing. As a matter of fact, I see one of my neighbors leaving soon to go to one of the games. They have to get there early, which means yeah. So anyway, they have to get there a little bit earlier than me. So I will meet them there. All right. So enough of me yipping and yapping and yapping and yipping. So for those of you who don't know who I am the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Bo. Welcome to the channel. So I just want to say, before I even get into it, I'm just going to let you know you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe because I'm amazing. All right. So go ahead, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscription, but I'm going to jump right on into it. So let me just talk about my people for a second. So if you're not a blackity black, I don't care if you watch me. Like, this is for everybody, but I'm specifically targeting the blackity blacks. I love my people. But sometimes, we got to check ourselves. Okay. So you probably selected this. I love my little shady faces. They are entertaining to me. So I'm like, stop your whining. All the way, stop your whining. All right, so let's get into it. Let me just say this. Why am I doing this? So I believe the last video I put out was on black people being fooled by the Jedi mind trick. Like, we're so easily susceptible. We're so easily like, we need acceptance from everybody. We use everybody else's standards, etc., 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 and we fall for the Jedi mind trick in the okie doke. But this is what I really want to talk about. Should I take this off or should I leave that on? I'll take it off for a while. Just look at me. I want to talk about why we need to stop all our whining. Where am I going with this? So, I've had this conversation in multiple videos where I talk about we need to stop with the learned helplessness. Okay. So, where am I really going with this? I feel like with the blackity blacks, okay, we love victim mentality. So usually everything is like the man's fault if it wasn't for the system. And I like to tell people, look, two things can be true. You can be a victim of all of the isms, classism, racism, sexism, all these things, right? There are systems that are put in place that are not beneficial for us. We will experience racism. I mean, all of these things. But those things should not prohibit you not here in this country. Okay? They should not prohibit you here in this country. Hold on a moment. Let me wave to my neighbor. All right. Okay. So those things should not prohibit us, right? They are barriers. They're not hard stops. And what happens is I get so turned off by my people. We practice learned helplessness. Well, why should I try? Because of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm tired of hearing it. Now, let me just stop for a second here. I want to go to the whole, a lot of people like to bring up the immigrants. I agree and disagree with the whole immigrant mentality. What I love about immigrants, especially the brown ones, I'm not anti-white immigrant, but what I'm saying is the brown immigrant, actually, let me rephrase that. All the immigrants, when they come here to the United States or to Western world, Western societies, I shouldn't even just say United States, but I'm kind of being myopic in my point of view. I'm trying to have a level of specificity, right? They come and they work hard, they toil, they have such heavy burdens, but they are highly focused. They want to succeed. They want to, like, take on the burden of removing barriers for those who are coming behind them. And there's something to be said about that. There's something to admire about it. However, I also tell people that victims, you can see, um, immigrants also, there are certain systems and barriers they also don't have to contend with. So what happens is, a lot of times when they're coming here, it's like they don't have the full flavor, the full spectrum of everything. They see one thing. And so they are partially right about the blackity blacks, right? Like they are partially right, but they also haven't been part of a fabric for long periods of time where they have been systematically just the systems have been like just torn down. So we can talk about things that have been put in place that have been damaging to black people, right? We've had the crime bill, was it the 1994 crime bill? We've had the highway act of, I believe it was 1965, 1963, I can't remember, basically. So we had that type of thing where they built highways to go through our communities and that type of thing. You know, we've had redlining, we've had, well, was the housing thing, the redlining thing. There's so many things. There's a desecration of Black Wall Street. There's all those black neighborhoods like Rosewood and Black Tulsa, and there's a whole list of them that I can't remember for some reason because I look, I'm getting old too. I mean, I am 45. I'm not old. I mean, I'm still fabulous, but I forget stuff. The point I'm making is there have things that have been put in place that have been quite harmful to black people. Oh, au contraire, my friend. Yet and still, there are still opportunities here to do something with yourself. And so what happens is, I guess I just get frustrated, right? Because I know that, the laws are not just. I know that there have been things that have been put in place that have been damaging to our people, but also we are we're, we're damaging to ourselves. We're like our own cancer too, right? We're like our own crown of thorns because we refuse to do some of the things, like we don't control the things that we can control. And so it is so easy. It's much easier to just sit back, fall back on that victim mentality. Oh, well, you know what? It's just stacked against me. Yes, it's going to be stacked against you. So one of the things I like to say is, look, let me make it clear to you when I'm talking to some of the blackity blacks. I'm like, you know, after living this life, traveling all around the world, talking to all kinds of people, and circling back here to the United States. Now, I'm speaking to the United States specifically. I'm not speaking for anybody else's homeland, okay? One of the things I've learned about white people when I've given myself the opportunity to be more vulnerable and receptive is there's a lot of people who've been through a lot of things. And I think black people, brown people in general, think that white people don't go through things. One of the things I tell black people is, please, let's not be mistaken. There's a lot of bad things that happen to white people, caused by white people, etc. The difference is they don't have the barrier of racism or, in some cases, sexism that they have to contend with, but they still contend with other things. They've got health issues and class issues and that type of thing. I am not trying to all lives matter this situation. I'm not trying to equate their situation to ours. What I am saying to my black people is, I always say, look, you're going to have a lot of the problems that everybody has, but you're going to also have a couple more. You're going to have more hoops to jump through. So I'm like, stop all your whining and crying and get out there and figure some stuff out. Try. Okay. Because I get tired of hearing people saying that they can't do anything outside of edge cases, and I refuse to believe everybody in the whole United States of America is an edge case. All the blackity blacks are not edge cases. Yes, we have things we have to contend with, but that should not stop you from taking advantage of the free things, going to the library. I don't know. Most of us have access to some form of data at some point. Even some of the poorest among us have access to a phone. Now, if you're racking your brain thinking of all of the different examples of where it doesn't apply, I'm like, if you're going out of your way to try to prove to me that it doesn't work by pulling out some edge cases, and all you're doing is proving what I'm saying is true. All right. Now, what I'm saying is we still have options to succeed here. I'm tired of all this whining and crying. Yes, we've got things that we have to deal with. I'm not in denial of that. I'm starting to sound like a freaking Candace Owens. I think I'm feeling some kind of way about that. But what I will say is we have options to succeed. Maybe not the same amount of options. Maybe we don't have the same kind of nepotism. But if we were to pull together our resources, if we were to operate with a level of specificity and intention, we could build our communities and we could be self supporting. Okay. But I'm just tired of it. I think we are in love with being victims. I'm telling you, it's like Stockholm syndrome. It's full on Stockholm syndrome. And I'm just kind of like, we need to cut it out. So, man, my hair is it getting puffy already? Look, y'all know I don't have any chemicals, so this is turning into a full on afro. So, look, we need to cut it out. We need to cut all this whining and crying out. Yes, it's unfair. And yes, we're going to get, discriminated against and all these things. It's going to happen. We're going to have extra barriers, but it doesn't mean that we can't succeed. It doesn't mean that we can't put food on the table. It doesn't mean that we can't care for our families. There's so much more I want to say to this, but I'm limited for time. It's 12:34. I'm already pushing the limits. I'm probably going to arrive at just a few minutes late to my son's game. Let me just say this. Black men. Now I'm going to go to the black men for a second. I need black men to level up. I'm tired of this whining and crying about it's all the black women's fault. I'm like, what are you doing to level up? And the reason why I'm coming at black men now, because there's like love is like chastising a child, even though they're not children. But I feel like some of them are acting like man childs. I'm like, get educated. They're like the worst in education. They're the worst in getting in income. They're the worst in home ownership. They're the worst in so many categories, and they're going backwards. They're trending backwards. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's all this hollering and all this other stuff about submission and this. Look, I don't even pay attention to the shenanigans. When you start talking shenanigans, you lose me. I'm like, take care of business first. We need to start taking care of business, right? And it starts with you. We need you to lead. People don't put trust in anybody. They don't want to follow people if they don't feel like you can do it. If right now if you got women who don't feel like I don't think they can level up. And I know black men can level up. I'm like, come on. I'm like, put this energy into leveling up. Stop chasing TNA. We got black women out here engaging in the shenanigans, but at least the black women have started leveling up. That's one thing they have done. We still have some work to do because we're acting out here like we're like in full fight mode. All right. This is the thing. We need to get it together. I especially want the black men. And the reason why I'm leaning on black men, I'm raising 3 young black men and a black daughter. And I'm like, you don't get the luxury of being average. Black people don't get to fail up. Other communities do. They can fail up, but we can't. You cannot be average. And right now, we're not even average. We got to do the hard work. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little biased in my conversation. I think as a black woman, I'm like, I'm tired of having to like try to like hold it down. And like, look, my husband doesn't do that, right? Like my husband, handles, so I'm a little bit spoiled in this aspect. But what I will say is this in general, like, I think black women are tired of having to hold it down. And then you're going to get crucified and vilified for it, right? Even when you're holding it down, it's like not enough, right? And now you're like the problem and the reason why everything is wrong. My message to black men: you are so talented, have so much style and personality and culture, and you're trendsetters, and just like black women. And I need you to get your life all the way together instead of sitting out here getting in these weird echo chamber conversations about shenanigans. I'm like, what are you doing to build yourself and anybody else? What are you doing right now that's going to be beneficial? Right now, even just by taking care of yourself, it's going to benefit the community, is going to benefit your family because you're going to be in a better position. Um, One thing I want to say for those who were not the blackity black blacks, not born outside of here, let me tell you something. As someone who has traveled all around this world, and yes, there's always some place I haven't been to. So, look, there are a lot of people in this world who are a lot poorer than we are, and so our perspective is just that, our perspective. But until you actually get your passport stamped and travel around this world, you don't probably really truly understand what real poverty is. Okay. So I'm putting that out there. Now, granted, poverty is relative to where you are, and I get it. But I'm talking about when you can go to places where you can't even steal the food because it's not there. Now, I haven't been to a lot of those places, but I've had some proximity. I'm talking about when, like, we're so used to being able to go someplace and turning on our faucet and water is coming out, potable water. Look, we've got booty water and drinking water. Yes. So I'm like, when we start talking about inequities and poverty, I'm like, if you traveled outside of here and gained some perspective, you would come back here a changed person. You would come back here a changed person. So you can miss me with all of that. Maybe we should get more of an immigrant. I don't know, way of thinking. Now, look, I'm not under any illusions that the immigrants like us. I am. Let me tell you something. As a regular old blackity black, I understand and recognize that most immigrants don't like us. Okay, they think that we're all these bad things. It doesn't have to be true. I'm going to be honest. I feel like most of the people, when I say immigrants, I'm talking about the black ones, the Asians, the whites. Yes, they think very poorly of black Americans here, the ones who were here, born here. Okay. I am aware of that, but that should not stop you from doing you and how you move throughout this world, how you interact with people. Because much of the change that's going to happen has to be done at grassroots. I'm not going to go on this campaign of like, black people aren't this bad. I'm not doing all of that. You're just going to have to learn by your own ethics. There's more ways than ethics. Your ethics will have to kick in. And they're also going to have to learn through heuristics. Okay. You guys can go ahead and just look it up for yourself. I'm not gonna get into it because I gotta get off this thing. But anyway, I just want to say, black people, stop all your whining and crying. Don't come to me with it because I don't want to hear it. I know we have barriers. We know we have barriers, and the people who are smart enough know we have barriers. But that's not stopping you from taking advantage of anything that's free and working hard and I don't know. Cut all that whining out. Put your energy into something else. All the way something else. All right, so let me get out of here because I'm like running late now and I gotta get my life together. All right, so look. Wait, what am I doing? Let me go ahead and get my situation. Let me throw my little banner up because um go ahead and subscribe. All the way subscribe. Can you just go ahead and get it together? You guys have commitment problems. Go ahead and subscribe. That lets the algorithm know that you guys like me and I'm amazing in every way. So go ahead and do it. Oh, look at my shirt. I bought this Survivor shirt. I'm sorry. Isn't that cute? It's like personalized. It says the bow. Look at I am so amazing. All right. So I mean, that's pretty much it. Black opinionated woman out.